Amidst everybody worrying about Affleck, out of left field comes the Man of Steel. Now, there have been reports that Henry Cavill may be done with the DCEU, and quite frankly, who could really blame him? But this does leave people wondering who could possibly take his place as the Kryptonian Crusader. And last I checked, that's what the show is all about. So, without further ado, let's Fancast Correct Superman. This Game of Thrones star has a few fans hoping that he will get to wear the cape one day, and I will admit that Game of Thrones is a really good place to find potential superheroes, since it's a popular show and it features a whole bunch of guys beating wholesale ass. However, Madden always looks kinda nervous to me, or slightly timid, and I don't think he quite fits the role. And if I was gonna go with a Game of Thrones star, sadly, I'm already out of options, because I would much rather have Jason Momoa play Clark than Aquaman, but I guess it's a little too late for that. An oldie but a goodie. Famous for playing a young Superman in Smallville, Tom Welling has since grown up and could be ready to reprise his role as a fully grown Man of Steel. In fact, there were actually some fans who were hoping that Smallville could eventually have continued on in film form. Although, well, I did watch the show and I think that Tom Welling did just fine, I don't know if returning to the role that some claim is cursed is the best idea for him. And while I'm not opposed to certain Smallville alumni retreading old turf, and while I wouldn't even be mad if Tom Welling did, I just think that it might be time for him to stay moving past this famous part. And speaking of which, Lois and Clark's Dean Cain allegedly offered to fill the role now that Henry Cavill is leaving. And everything I just said about Tom Welling goes double if not triple for Cain. And as much as I just want to support the brother at a general principle, just to be down with the cause and all, and while I will admit that he still does look pretty good for his age, I'm sorry man, you're just too old. And while we're talking about guys that are way past their prime, there's Nicolas Cage. Look, we get it. You like comic books. That's no reason why you should be up to play every single comic book character from Ghost Rider all the way to Norman Osborn to, of course, Superman. Now look, yes, I know, you almost played the character in the Tim Burton film, but why should we suspect that that would be any good? It's just like the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. Do people forget that these guys suck? Who other than Nicolas Cage wants to see him play Superman? If you really like comics, do yourself a favor and just stay away from them. Although I will say Nick Cage's suits and Ben Affleck as Batman in the same cinematic universe, that would set the internet on fire as their worst nightmare from a couple of years ago. As the former star of the USA show White Collar, he has definitely proven himself to be quite versatile in his acting ability. Plus, he's also from Missouri, which is kinda close to Kansas, so he's got that whole middle America thing going for him. However, my biggest issue with him is that he's just too small. I understand Kryptonian alien magic means that you could be any size, and I also realize that he can exercise. And also, I don't need all my superheroes to be swole, but I do need the Man of Steel to have muscles of steel. Plus, no matter how much working out Bomber does, I'm still pretty sure that he's just not going to be the appropriate size for Superman. And yes, I do know that being too skinny has been a complaint that some people have made for other Supermen. Surprisingly, there are those who said that about Christopher Reeve at the time of his casting, and Reeve has gone on to become the gold standard for Superman. However, with all that being said, when it comes to the role, I still do need someone who is significantly bigger than Bomber. I think I've already made my opinion clear on this subject. But now finally, on to my pick. Now, I want to start by saying that I really do like Cavill in the role, and it's not his fault that the DCEU sucks. And I think most people will also agree that they like him playing the character and hope that he comes back, hopefully to a good film. But if I had to recast a role right now, I have to go with David Giuntoni. The actor has earned popularity with his role in the show Grimm. He was also born in Wisconsin, so that's still the Midwest. And while I'll still require him to bulk up just a bit for the role, I still think he'll have an easier time with this than Bomber. Now, aside from all that, I also think he can play a goody-goody fairly well, and I do think he looks the part. Maybe not as much as Joel Millionaire, but what are you gonna do? At least this guy's an actor. But what do you think? Who do you want to see play the Man of Steel if you had to recast him right now? Let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe right here to Dave Knows Comics. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, Dave knows.